Hi everyone, it's Cara back. I got these Inktense blocks when I was in England. I used to have a set of 12, and I think when I moved from living in a van to living out of a suitcase, it was one of the things that unfortunately didn't come because they are quite heavy, and I went with watercolours instead. Well, that was a big mistake. So I've now got this pack of 24 and I'm going to swatch them. So obviously I didn't have all these colours before because I only had 12. This one's broken, but I mean that won't affect anything. So I just thought I'd have a little go and see how they are going to stand up, because I can't really remember what they were like. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw with each colour, which is not how I would normally use them. I normally use them by wetting my paintbrush and then wetting the pigment stick and using them a bit like a kind of a watercolour, I suppose. But today I'm gonna try them like this as well. You know, it's good to investigate all different ways that you can use your supplies. I'm not sure the white's going to come out very well, but we'll see anyway. We all, oh, okay. Oh, well, that one's a bit broken already. Perhaps in transit, but it doesn't stop it, you know, broken crowns, they still colour. Bit of a cliche, I can't get this one out, apparently. So yeah, we all use many of our supplies in very different ways, and as a mixed media art journaler, I use them on all the ways. So yeah, sometimes I do remember one thing actually that I used to do with these. If there was a broken bit like that, which I remember having actually, I would maybe slice a bit off, mix it up with a bit of texture paste, and then you've basically got colour texture paste. I mean, I do that with paint as well, so I don't know if any of you guys do that. Just grab myself a bit of kitchen roll to dry my paintbrush. There's a lot of dust come off there. That would be quite nice to smush into something, but for now I'm just going to activate half of these with a little bit of water just to see what they go like. Kind of what I remember from before is that's how I used them mainly, but straight from the pigment stick rather than on the paper like this. But I thought I'd try it this way, as I said. The other thing is, if I remember rightly, unlike watercolours and unlike my other medium, which I love these Dina Wakley Screw Sticks. However, because they're water soluble, when I'm putting glue or gesso or, you know, nearly anything on top, they will reactivate. I believe that, if I remember rightly from before, these dry permanent like acrylic ink would, and I'm pretty sure that's what I liked about them last time. So quite liking this. As I said, the white's not going to do much, and it's got some little bit of brown in it, but hey. So let me know in the comments, guys, what are your kind of favourite travel mediums? I live out of a suitcase and a rucksack, or backpack, some people call them. We do live in Morocco, but we do travel a lot. And because of that, I try not to accumulate too much stuff. I do have quite a lot more art supplies here in Morocco than I take travelling with me. But when I travel, like for instance, we've got a month in Thailand and I'm really struggling with what to bring with me. Like I said, there's always a weight allowance on the baggage that we take. So there's quite often, yeah, that's how I used to use them. There's quite often a 10k baggage allowance, and I love things like this. However, sometimes when you've only got 10k, you're limited, and obviously you want, you know, your clothes, a spare pair of this, or I say a spare pair, what I mean is I've got, my clothes are obviously limited, which I'm fine with, to be fair. But then it's shoes, you know, we wear trainers or walking shoes to travel in. And then we take with us our flip-flops, because basically we travel to try and be in warm countries. You know, we love a warm country, and that's why we started travelling, to be warm somewhere rather than in the, you know, somewhat miserable weather of the UK in the winter especially. So we take our flip-flops with us. But then there's times where, you know, you want to just dress up and go out for dinner. So I've got a dress with me. I've got a nice pair of very thin trousers that I love. But you cannot, that's gone a bit, you cannot wear trainers with them really. And, you know, flip-flops don't cut it all the time for the evening. I've made that a bit muddy. So I prioritise my clothes, obviously. But what I'd love to do is be able to have more art supplies with me. So what do you take if you go on holiday? For instance, I get not everyone travels like I do, but if you go on holiday, what do you take in your travel kits? Pop a comment in the comment section, because I'm very keen to see what limited supplies people take, and obviously what I can then do with them. I think these Inktense blocks are gonna be an amazing tool to take with me, because as I said, if indeed I am right and they dry permanent, that is perfect for me, because I can layer up. So at the moment I take with me a small A5 journal, some stamps, so normally some background building stamps, a couple of stencils, again background building ones, so I can utilise them for anything. And then I tend to grab you know, bits and bobs as I'm travelling. So we recently went to Spain and I bought something from a shop called Owl Hop, and they have on their bag like this little cow. It's quite cute. So I then used the cow as my focal point on my art page, journal page, which was great. And also you can pick up magazines. It was Christmas whilst we was in Spain, so they had a lot of, you know, 2026 calendars from Benidorm Palace and a Chinese restaurant up the road, etc. So these two look very much the same. I'm going to have a look in a minute. I feel like I've been given two black. Perhaps there is two black in this set. Of course, it's on the bottom of the tin, so you can never really see. Doesn't really say, but they look the same. Oh, they've got numbers on. Oh no, 2100 and 2200, so they are slightly different. Okay, well, black's always handy. So that's how they've gone. Again, this is how I would usually use them, straight from this palette, with a bit of water onto there. But you can put the pigment down and wet it. So yeah, dabbing them gives a different effect as well. Just like watercolours, I suppose. Which green was that? Blue. Let's try. Yeah. So yeah, what do you put in your travel kits? Because that's all I take. And then I tend to buy like a pack of paints like this in every country I'm in, because they have quite a lot of restrictions on paints on planes, and because we only travel with hand luggage effectively, these can explode. I have had one explode once, and also because you are limited, although these are only 9 mils, and you can take up to 100 mils, or a quart worth of 100 mils. Because they're paint, they can be quite funny, and I had a whole set of 24 taken off me once because they said that they were unauthorised and that they should go in the hold. We don't pay for hold luggage, so I end up buying a pack of these wherever I go. And you can imagine, most places we stay for a month. If we can, we stay for 3 months in each place because we like to explore the areas. But we've just been to Benidorm, and we've been there before, and we just went for sort of a Christmas holiday. So buying a pack of these for a month, obviously I didn't use them all up, so it's quite wasteful. However, they were only £5 from Alhop, so it's not too bad, but I hate wasting paint. So I actually gave them to the hotel manager's daughter because she told me she painted. But normally we end up leaving this kind of stuff, which breaks my heart. So yeah, let me know what you take in your travel kit. So I'm quite happy with these. I do remember loving them before. This is heavy though. I think that's why I bought the 24 last, this is 24, right? Yeah, that's why I bought the 12 last time. But I'm very happy with them. They will come in very useful, and it might be that actually these are worth the heaviness to take with me, because as I said, if they do dry permanent, which I think they are, I will read this. Oh, it says right here, water soluble vibrant colours that dry permanently for exceptional layering, draw paint, or great in slim and controllable block format. So great, I think that's kind of what I used to do, like shave a bit off to put into my texture paste, which I might try later on today now that I've got these out. But yeah, so they do dry permanent, so maybe these become the new addition to my travel kit, along with my little journal, which is just this little A5 one, so it fits quite nice. And then I normally have a couple of stencils and stamps in a pack like this, little plastic pack. So that's kind of it, but as I said, I have to worry about the weight. So let me know in the comments below, and I will see you soon. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.